Hello everyone, Gaara here and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm gonna review one of the first games of the WESG Qualifier that I played in over a week ago. During that time I was in Bucharest playing in the DreamHack. Because I dropped out on the first 2 days, I managed to play in the qualifier on Sunday, and if I would have stayed in the DreamHack Bucharest, then I would have played there on Sunday. But since I dropped out, I was able to play the WESG Qualifier, and that's a very big and important qualifier because the offline finals have a prize pool of over $4 million. So it is a very important qualifier, so you don't really compare it to other qualifiers where you just play and you don't really care so much. The decks I submitted for this tournament were not that well tested just because I was focusing on the DreamHack Bucharest, and it was not even guaranteed that I play in this qualifier because of DreamHack Bucharest. So only if I drop out of the DreamHack, then I'm able to play in this qualifier. So the decks I submitted were not optimal, so I have to say that. And on top of it, we had to submit decks on Wednesday, and the qualifier was on Sunday, and we flew out on Bucharest. And also the deck submission for Bucharest was on Wednesday, I believe, and we flew out on Thursday. So very short time. So I ended up submitting 3 decks I submitted for the DreamHack Bucharest. But since the format is completely different, it is a Conquest best of 5 with no ban. It's a completely different format, so the decks should be way different. But I will go over this later in detail. By the way, sorry for not uploading that many videos recently. I don't want to just spam upload content. I want to talk about stuff that is interesting to you guys. And right now Hearthstone is getting a little bit more boring again since since the expansion is out for quite a while now, and to come up with new decks is fairly difficult, and it's not so much going on there. So I want to provide you some interesting content, and I think this is very interesting because there you can see behind the scenes what kind of preparation goes into these kinds of tournaments / qualifiers if they're important. So for this tournament, as I just mentioned, the decks I'm playing are good but not optimized for the format. So since it is Conquest, strategy is actually fairly simple. You just want to bring the best decks that beat everything. Another thing that is important to notice is we had the deck lists from every opponent, and this is very important for this match as for this opponent as well. I knew his lists, obviously he knew mine, and he didn't play Void Walkers in his zoo. And that made me really confident with my lineup because I had Zoo myself, Shaman and Warrior. Since he doesn't play Void Walkers, I'm very confident also in the Zoo Mirror. What else is there to say? Just bringing the best decks. And another thing to mention is also the player level, the skill level of myself. When I'm streaming, oftentimes I just play at around 70%, I would say, from what I can actually play. I noticed this myself very often recently, especially, is how sometimes I just don't play as good. I feel like I could have played much better. I do misplays in tournaments, and sometimes I just play insanely good. And this is also another example, because in this qualifier especially, I don't know why, because I was in a hotel, I was eating very good food, I was working out, drinking a lot of water. I felt extremely good, and I felt like I played to close to 100% during this qualifier. I didn't manage qualifying in the end. I came though in to the finals. It came down to the very last game in the finals. It was the score was 3-3, I believe, and then I ended up losing 3-4. So I was just 1 game away from going to the offline event. So that's kind of interesting. So I think partially it was a reason that I couldn't change my decks, but I don't want to blame that. And that's also a lot of RNG. I lost to Druid, and Yoxeron is too strong. So besides that, let's go over this game. So my opponent was Suton. You probably don't know him. If you do know him, then props to you, because I would say most people do not know him. I was playing in the Adriatica bracket. It's a more unknown players, just because they're from Bosnia, from the Balkan countries. and if you're not from there, you're not very familiar with that region, because that region is not that popular in the scene. So I'm playing against Zoo, as I mentioned. I know he doesn't run the Void Walkers. He runs like the Scarred Zoo and one Sea Giant, and so yeah, just because. And it is Conquest, so I have to win with all of your decks. And in my mindset, I had to like, yeah, I kind of indirectly focused on just targeting his Zoo, because the other lists were pretty good. Overall, the lists from the people were just nothing out of the ordinary. People played like Maligos Druid, Discard Zoo, you know, Dragon Warrior, all the good decks, and Shaman obviously. So in this mulligan, when I go first, I mulligan for Warx. Slam is not good enough, and I don't think, because I go first, you just mulligan for Warx, nothing else. And this is a very, like, when you think about the mulligan, it's a very low chance actually to get that Warx, and all the other cards are very like subpar. If you go second, you can keep a Bash, but yeah, you try to find that Warx, and this really increases your win percentage by a lot. So I didn't get it here, as you can see. Changing in my settings. Good stuff, good stuff. So we have the Slam. Shield Block is nice though. I really like the combination of Shield Block and Brawl against Zoo. Makes it also much easier to mulligan when you know for certain what your opponent is playing. I think this really increases the skill of the or the chance of good players winning if they can play around. So here's the Agent Squire. I'm pretty sure I'm slamming this to draw a card, but I can also see just armoring up here, because I might go for a Brawl on turn 5. But yeah, Acolyte is a great card against the Squire, because if he plays around Brawl, he's not overextending too much, then I have to go for a different line. So what I can do now is just play the Acolyte, draw a card. So let me pause here quickly just to go over the options. I can, on turn 4, I can stall with the Shield Block Shield Slam. If I draw, I mean, I have the Revenge already in hand, and I can, like, if he has a board which is not revengeable, I can just stall with the Shield Block Shield Slam to get a better Brawl, so I can also clear afterwards with the Warx if, yeah, whatever small survives. So killing the gang boss is fine no matter what, I would say, next turn, except he plays a Councilman, then I would prefer to kill a Councilman. The Acolyte almost guarantees me a draw, because he coined out the gang boss, so it's very likely he plays another free drop, and he cannot go for the Argus. So if he goes Acolyte, I wouldn't mind so much, because then I can Shield Block Shield Slam the gang boss, and afterwards Revenge or Revenge Warx, and I'm not forced to, yeah, I could also like next turn Warx Revenge and Brawl if necessary. Shield Block Shield Slam I always have in my backhand to kill a big minion, and Acolyte just gives me more cards, and I'm not under too much pressure, so I really like the Acolyte here, to be honest. And there's a chance that I just draw 2 cards. Because he coined out the free drop, usually you want to play another free drop as Zoo. And if it breaks your just free drop play, then you don't mind. Like, you don't mind not taking. Like, if the Acolyte tanks 3 damage or you draw a card, you're completely fine with it. Now I drew the Elise, which is pretty awesome. What I can do now is, like, again, multiple options. I can just slam down the Elise, force him to trade. Like, the thing is that I didn't take a lot of damage. So whenever you can play minions instead and force your opponent to trade into it, that's like the best thing that can happen for control decks, because like this is how you oftentimes play as priest. Like, you play the what is it called, the Priest of the Feast, and then the opponent trades into it, and then it takes 6 damage, and it clears off the board, which is great. And then you play a bigger minion on turn 5, and then I play a bigger minion on turn 6. Like, if I play Elise and he trades his minions, and then play, back in the days you played Sludge Belcher and then Sylvanas, and suddenly he's like, oh no, I cannot trade anymore, and you still have so much life. Yeah, here you have I have multiple great options. I can just develop the Warx. Having Warx equipped 1 turn before Brawl is amazing, because then you have the Warx to clean off whatever survived. Yeah, playing Elise and forcing him to trade is great when you have a lot of life. Shield Block Shield Slam also stalls and decreases the chance that the gang boss survives. So a lot of great options here. The thing is, with 2 Voraxes in hand, you wanna utilize the Vorax as soon as possible. Like if I Vorax armor up, I heal for 2 this turn, and I take out 4 damage. Whenever you kill a direwolf, which buffs 2 minions, you take out 4 damage. So, and also I have a second Vorax, as I said. It takes 4 turns to use up the charges. So I decide to take out 4 damage and heal myself for 2 this turn, which is like a difference of 6. And I have the Vorax equipped in case I have to brawl next turn. And I still have the shield block shield slam to take out the big minion. Now he went for the Argus, which is the best thing you can do as Zoo against Warrior. I have the Savannah, so I will definitely, pretty sure I'm going to shield block shield slam, and then first I take out the Agent Squire and then shield block shield slam, stall, have a lot of life, play Savannahs, and that's like a win condition. And I have the brawl after the Savannah, so pretty good. And I don't mind. Also have the revenge, like if I drop to 12 life, I can always clear the board from the zoo with the revenge, so keeping the range when you're low on life is also pretty good. So and yeah, he has almost no power on the board, he has to overcommit. The ghoul is also a pretty nice draw, and I can also get the, like, I really want to play the Savannahs on 6. And I hope that he cannot kill me in 2 turns, basically. Like he can play stuff this turn, I play Savannahs, I don't armor up, and then to not die the following turn. And life tap is amazing for that game plan. I could potentially Elise Vorax, but Savannahs into Brawl is a game winning play. Then I have board control, and then I have all those control cards I can heal and clean his board also easily. So this is a rough decision because Councilman is a huge threat, but yeah, I just have to go for it because for 6 mana you don't, and the Councilman is just at 1 health. You just don't expect at a 19 life with that he just buffs it so much and kills me. Yeah, I mean I went for this line, so I have to stick with it. And he drew a lot of cards, so he probably has a lot of burst damage. Most people cut the POs. I think that his list had no POs in it. So yeah, he goes for Savannah's clear before the brawl, which is pretty good. Makes my brawl much weaker. Now he got like very unlucky that I stole. I mean, it's 25%. But yeah, it's obviously super good for me to steal. So here, now I just want to play defensive. What I can do is just take to like attack the defender of Argus, which I'm doing. So I'm at 12 life. So now I can always use, this is the reason why I took the additional damage. So my revenge is activated. Now I can always AoE for 3 damage, which is really, really good. He plays the Peddler. I mean, yeah, as soon as I took the Councilman, I just like, if one big RNG goes your favor, then it's usually game deciding. So yeah, he takes a little bit more damage. Now I can just revenge, my Councilman will survive. I can go Elise, hero power, be safe. It's just, this is probably what I'm going to do, just because I have the board afterwards. I can also just trade and play Cairn, so I have an even stronger board. I can just play the Ghoul as well, and Vorax the Peddler, and also play the Elise, because I don't expect him to kill me, and I have an insanely strong board, and I'm also setting up lethal for the following turn. this is just to play it super safe, because I should, like, why take the damage, why risking to die? There were like different lines, and now I even saved the revenge. Yeah, using the weapon because I'm running Gorhal, and Gorhal would be, would it be another out if I deal 3 damage? Yeah, it would be yeah, it would be lethal. This is why I was thinking to attack with the weapon there. Let's see if he gets the ping. Doesn't get the ping, feels bad, man. 2 times 25% to kill it. Yeah, I can just continue, and he has 2 power on the board. I will ignore the, not even ignore the game boss, just play it as safe as possible. Like, play the Cairn. He has no power on the board. I'm at 30 life. I have a freaking Cairn on the board. I could have ended the game in a different way, I feel like, if I used the revenge, but this is like super safe. I have revenge as an execute enabler now. I have freaking Cairn on the board. There's like no way I can lose this game, and I still have 2 brawls. Now with the bash, I will most likely bash this guy, go face, just be even more alive. I can even save the bash and just double trade with those minions. I mean, this is just trying to end the game as soon as possible. There was no need to waste the bash there. But I want to push damage, I want to end the game. Like, if I draw Grommash, it would be lethal. So there's the Doomguard double discard, no discard minion in hand. It's got a bit of deeps. So he has a Soulfire, I basically showed it with targeting phase. So I know he has one. You have to be careful with that. I mean, now I know he has a Soulfire in hand, but yeah, since I played so safe, I have, even with the Doomguard abusive, like, and the Soulfire in hand, I'm not even close to losing. So I have the revenge execute, and as soon as I do that, he will most likely concede, and I can also play the Acolyte. Like, I could even trade my Cairn and save the execute if I would play it, but there's just no way from this point on that the Warlock can win, so I value pushing the phase damage here. But I would say the super correct play would be to just trade. So there's the Grommash. I can hit with the Acolyte to see if I can put him at 2 life. But yeah, just clearing the board. From this point on, he can't win. I went for the super safe play. It's like, how can Azul outvalue or Cairn? Let's go to the next game. I wonder if it starts immediately. Since it is Conquest, I won with the deck and then I have to change my deck. I can decide here between my mid-range Shaman. So let's move on. Or Zoo, but since he doesn't play Void Walkers, I feel very confident in the Zoo Mirror. I'm always giving it like a thought, go over the options. Is this really the right decision? Because in Conquest, both players can decide to change their decks. So my deck has to be still good against all of his decks. So he decides to requeue the Zoo. I practice this matchup a lot before the preliminaries with RDU. The Zoo Mirror, the Zoo versus Druid, like how you have to mulligan, and so this hand is really good, and I will keep all of it. And I will start with the Void Walker. Like, some people would just outplay the Flame Imp. I mean, I can go over this. The reason is if I play the Flame Imp, if I play the Flame Imp, then he can just play any 1-drop and it will trade with the... I think this is very interesting. He can trade with any 2-drop. Like if I play the Flame Imp, he could just play Abusive and contest it, right? Then I have to play the Void Walker, and then he can play Direwolf and trade into it. But worst scenario is like I play Flame Imp, he plays Flame Imp, then I'm forced to trade, or yeah, because I would just play a Void Walker and he would just kill it. But if he plays a Flame Imp into the Void Walker, I can play Abusive Surgeon and trade my Void Walker and play my own Flame Imp and protect him with the Abusive, and then play afterwards the Peddler. So for trading, you have to trade a lot in the Zoom mirror, and it's more important to set up the board for preferable trades than to just play the strongest minion. So here in this case, it is very obvious to play the Void Walker over the Flame Imp, especially when going first. So here's the case where he plays the Flame Imp and he doesn't play Void Walker, so I think I have a big edge, because Void Walker in the late game is also pretty important to just protect some of your other minions. So this is also very interesting here, because the Malkazar Imp is quite a big threat. So I have to kill it because he can play the 2-drop that discards. As you can see here, in this case, that my Void Walker... he just value traded into the Malkazar Imp, so I got my value, and he's protecting my Flame Imp here. So even though he has the Abusive is not doing too much, pushes the Flame Imp to 5 attack, but he still just runs into my guy. So here I want to pick up a Mortal Coil, I didn't get it. I get the Possessed Villager, which is good enough. And again, now you can see the power of Void Walker. I can play my second Void Walker and protect my Flame Imp from the Abusive. It doesn't force me to trade. And I can push free face damage, and also it protects my Flame Imp so he doesn't trade. So if he doesn't have a buff here, Abusive is not doing anything. He has the buff, so luckily he picks that up, but it's very mana inefficient to play the Direwolf turn 3. He doesn't have another one drop, but he's kind of forced to do it. Now I have all my 1-drops. I play my Darkshire, or whatever this card is called, like Darkshire Librarian, and my Flame Imp is still alive. So that White Walkers made a big difference. I like that it showed in this game, because he's not running White Walkers, and I had both White Walkers. So I have the PO, mostly cutting POs, as you can see. It's like an amazing card here. Or I have, this is the Nut top deck. Probably the best 2 cards I could have drawn for this situation, and yeah, this is pretty much over. I get 2 free cards as a zoo. I have the board. I mean, yes, now it looks like crazy draws, but most games are decided in the first 3 turns. So there's a Sea Giant, it's pretty good in the zoo matchup, but this is already too late. Whenever your opponent plays a big card like this and you are like, oh my god, never panic, just ignore it and go face, because he doesn't play AoE and you will just outrace him. Even though I don't have taunts or whatever, I don't have to deal with this card. It comes really down to the first couple of turns in the zoo mirror, and also how you build the zoo deck. So you have to improve the consistency as much as possible. And I think that not having White Walkers gave me a huge edge in this matchup. So I decided to just queue the mirror very confidently. So my last deck that is left is my Shaman. And he changed to Warrior. A lot of Warrior builds are built to beat Shaman. It is the Totem Shaman. I'm not playing the Shaman anymore, but back then it was a list that Xixo was using to climb on High Legend, and it was doing very well for him. So I have the Totemic Might, which is pretty good in this matchup. It's an okay card. I wouldn't say it's crazy. I think the totem, the 1 mana totem card that buffs you by 1/1 stats per totem is better. because all you need to do is just hero power pass, and at some point you can just buff a totem by +5/+5 or some crazy number. So yeah, I have both totemic mites. It's not so good. Since here it's kind of nice because you don't have to rush and just slam out the totem golem. My follow-up is really bad. I have Azure Drake and Fling from below, so if I really don't want to waste my coin here, even though I mean I have a pretty high chance to high roll with Tusker Totemic, as you guys know. So it is Katoon Warrior, so we expect him to have double brawl. I mean, I knew it before the game. Here's my Totem Golem, awesome. Thanks Blizzard. I just completely outplayed my opponent. So that puts me suddenly in an amazing spot. I can even decide to use my Totemic Might, because I have 2 in my hand, and if he clears my board, I'm in a really bad spot. So I also force him to use an Execute, but he can obviously just slam, trade the Vorax and the board into it, which is fine. But if he executes it, one Execute is down, and I mean this is a pretty good answer, I would say. So he's not forced to use the Execute, he has the board, and yeah, since he hasn't used the Execute, then it makes me more hesitant to play my Thunder Buff Alliance later on. So here I can just go for the 5/5. It's pretty bad because he can just trade it with the board. I can try to roll Spell Power, which is just 25%. I'm deciding to do that over coining out. Oh, I got lucky. Yeah, if it's Taunt Totem, I can play my Flame Tongue Totem. If it's other totems, it's just bad. I just, in this particular, I didn't think it was too good. I just didn't want to waste my coin, because if I draw the Wicked Witch, or whatever it's called, I can transform my coin into a totem together with the Totemic Might, which just floods the board. Just coining out the Azure Drake or playing the thing from below looked pretty bad there, because he has already the answer. So I went for the RNG here. I can just go for the flood with the Mana Tide. I really like to play Mana Tide very soon, if I think it will survive, because then it will, if it draws me more than one card, I think it's extremely good. Here, if he has a brawl, he absolutely has to brawl here, and that's the good thing about this deck, because it's very easy for me to re-flood the board after it gets brawled. And if he doesn't have the brawl in his hand, then yeah, it's pretty much GG. I just draw too many cards from the Mana Tide. So those cards, all my cards right now here on this board, are high priority kill targets. Like he has to kill the Flame Tongue Totem, which is 5 health. He has to kill the Mana Tide, which is 5 health. So here now, since my Mana Tide is already on board, and I committed a lot to this board, I don't want to overextend more to it. So I'm thinking now, do I want to play the Primal Fusion in Azure Drake? Do you want to play the Fling from below? Azure Drake is a card that just recycles it, you know, it draws you another card and it gives you 4/4 power on board, which is always nice, so you're not committing too much with playing that. And Primal Fusion right now buffs it just +2/+2, but since I play the buff the 6/3, I think it's okay. Because he couldn't deal with it last turn, and the board doesn't trade with my thing from below, so I'm protecting my board as well. But I could have also pushed 6 damage to the face there, which would have been nice. But right now I don't have to force it, because I'm running Bloodlust, and as soon as I draw a Bloodlust or I play the Thunder Buff Alliance, I will just push lethal anyways. So it's better to fight for the board. And I decided to not kill the Acolyte. He played already one Blood to Ichor, and it doesn't trade off with my thing from below. And you think about cards like Ghoul. Ghoul doesn't even do so much. Let's say he Ghouls, executes, I mean, he still has to decide what is he going to kill. Is he going to kill my Mana Tide? Is he going to kill my Flame Tongue? Is he going to kill my Azure Drake? So I'm really in a good spot. And if he has, as soon as he picks up the Brawl, I can just reflood my board. So here I'm just gonna definitely go for one more. I know he doesn't have the Brawl, but it's kind of likely that at some point he will just pick it up. So I'm not gonna commit my thing from below. It's just the board is just strong enough. He has to deal with it, and as soon as he deals with it, I have a second Thunder Bluff and 5/5. Oh, here, because this is just again to just finish the game. I absolutely didn't have to do this. But since I know he didn't have the Brawl, because he would have brawled last turn, I'm just forcing here the victory, put him on a Brawl. I think this was just, yeah, unnecessary. But yeah, it gets paid off. I mean, I knew he didn't have it. And I was so far in the series that... Second Thunder Bluff, GG. And my Mana Tide lived also for so many turns. I really wanted to finish the game the following turn. Okay, so that was the series with some commentary. I hope you guys liked this kind of videos. If you like it, I will make more of it. I can also it was like coincidence that I won this game 3-0. I will obviously also review like if I lose series, but I want to show like interesting series and like or interesting. If there's like big tournaments, usually they are streamed anyways, and then yeah, you already watched the game. So this is games which have not been on stream, and which is yeah also a tournament that I played in and I tried to win it. So I think it's kind of interesting. So give me a like if you like this kind of video, and see you guys in next time, and I hope you guys will have a beautiful day. Peace out.